In 2001, they released what I have to say is one of my favorite Disney movies, The Emperor's New Groove. It's about an emperor named Kuzco who got turned into a llama by his advisor, Yzma, so she could be the new emperor with her henchman, Kronk. So Kuzco has to team up with a peasant named Pacha to return to his kingdom and reclaim his position. When production began, it was something completely different than what it is today. Before, it was called Kingdom of the Sun, and the story was based on The Prince and the Pauper by Mark Twain. It was actually more dramatic than comedic. Owen Wilson was supposed to play Pacha. Sting wrote 6 songs for the film like Elton John did for The Lion King. And when Yzma turned Manco, yes, that was Kuzco's first name of choice, into a llama, Manco doesn't talk. The result was that it really wasn't good, so they have to suspend the project when only half of the film was done. One of the animators, Andrea Stagia, had to go to Orlando, Florida to work on Lilo and Stitch during that time. One day, director Mark Dindell, producer Randy Fulmer, storyman Chris Williams, and screenwriter David Reynolds completely changed the project by removing Wilson, the Prince and the Pauper story, the drama, and all the Sting songs, except one which got an Academy Award nomination. The animation and the humor is said to be more reminiscent to the Looney Tunes cartoons and the MGM cartoons of Tex Avery. One reason could be that director Mark Dindell also directed the Warner Brothers animated musical Cats Don't Dance. In the final battle scene, there would be some parodies of classic Disney film moments when Yzma would fall to her doom, like in Beauty and the Beast and Snow White.
For the last time, we did not order a giant trampoline. You know, pal, you could have told me that before I set it up.
Also, it would parody when Maleficent from Sleeping Beauty would turn into a dragon when Yzma Some people say that it's a reference to the time when Eartha Kitt, who is Yzma in the film, was Catwoman in the 1960s Batman series. On its release, it had a lot of great reviews at the time, but on the box office, it didn't do really well as before, with almost $90 million domestically and another $80 million from the rest of the world. This would begin the time when some Disney films would make them earn less and less money than before. In 2001, Disney released the sci-fi action flick Atlantis, The Lost Empire. It tells the story of a linguist named Milo Thatch who founds a sacred book that he thinks that will lead him to the lost city of Atlantis. He brings a bunch of archaeologists and excavators with him to find the city, but struggles against some selfish people who wants to sabotage the mission for their own profit. To prepare the team for production, they went to museums, old army installations, and even went 800 feet below in New Mexico's Carlsbad Caverns to model it for the approach of Atlantis. It was noted that Mike Mignola, the creator of the Hellboy series, provided a lot of initial sketches for the film. The Atlantean language that they would speak was created by Mark Okrand, who also created other languages in the Star Trek series like Vulcan and Klingon. Oddly enough, Milo was actually sketched after Okrand by John Pomeroy. He said that Milo is the closest I've come to animating a self-portrait. Atlantis is notable as one of the few animated films shot in the anamorphic widescreen process. The others were Lady and the Tramp, Sleeping Beauty, The Black Cauldron, and Brother Bear. To prevent having bought larger animation desk, longer animation paper, yada yada yada, the production team restored to working within a smaller frame on the same paper and equipment used for the standard aspect ratio Disney films. When it was released, it really didn't do well as other Disney films did. There were mixed reviews from the critics. People like the Washington Post and USA Today didn't like it, while people like Roger Ebert... Wait a minute, is it just me, or is this guy really like what Disney dishes out no matter what? Anyways, he and the New York Times do. As for the box office, that didn't do well either. Sure, they may have got more than $186 million worldwide, but it wasn't as successful as the others. Like The Lion King, there was a controversy that it was similar to a Japanese anime, which in this case is called Nadia, The Secret of Blue Water. It was created by Toho, who also made the Godzilla franchise and produced the Pokemon movies in Japan. Due to what they got at the box office, they have scrapped a TV show that would continue the story called Team Atlantis. Also, while the Disneyland attraction Submarine Voyage was closed, they thought of reopening the ride with an Atlantis theme, but that got scrapped too. Now the ride's back on with a Finding Nemo theme. In 2002, Disney released Lilo and Stitch. The story is about a Hawaiian girl named Lilo who adopts what she thought was a puppy and named him Stitch. However, Stitch is actually a runaway alien genetic experiment numbered 626. In Hawaii with Lilo, he learns about loyalty, friendship, and ohana. What is ohana, you may ask?
Ohana means family. Family means nobody gets left behind.
Making a film set in Hawaii was a new challenge to Disney. You know, since they mostly placed their other films during the past in Europe. Before, they thought of setting it in Kansas, but the Hawaiian islands of Kauai was better to define the plot more clearly. During the team's trip to Kauai, their tour guide explained them about ohana. Director Dean DeBlois said, "No matter where we went, our tour guide seemed to know somebody. He was really the one who explained to us the Hawaiian concept of ohana, a sense of family that extends far beyond your immediate relatives." The idea so influenced the story that it became the foundation theme, the thing that causes Stitch to evolve despite what he was created to do, which is destroy. The other director, Chris Sanders, who is also the voice of Stitch, created the character as far back as 1985. Now there's no way that you can mistake that for a puppy! Originally, Stitch was an intergalactic gangster, and Jumba was a member of his gang who wanted revenge for being left behind during a heist. But the filmmakers felt some sympathy when the audience thought of him as a younger guy. Now Stitch is just a genetic experiment, and Jumba is his creator. What Disney did for the movie's teaser trailers is unbelievable, but hilarious at the same time. They would show a memorable moment from a famous movie of the Disney Renaissance, and then Stitch would come in and screw everything up, like The Little Mermaid,
I was singing here.
Beauty and the Beast,
Get your own movie.
Aladdin,
You get your own movie.
and The Lion King.
Hey, that's not Simba.
They even had the original actors return to do their characters again. When it was released, they did very well. They almost got $275 million worldwide. It got great reviews from the critics, it made a spin-off series, and 3 direct-to-video movies. Also, it was one of the first Disney films to be nominated for Best Animated Feature.